Have your local midwives taken the anti-witchcraft oath? Probably not. It is the 21st century after all. But if they had lived in 16th century England, they most likely would have. Hi, my name is Bose. I have an MA in Early Modern English History, and on this channel we talk about the history you don't learn about in school. And today we're going to discuss 3 outrageous historical facts. Random fact number 1 will look at the midwifery oath. The second fact will be about one item that most early moderners had in their pocket. And then the third fact will be about hornbooks. I know it's funny to think about today, but in early modern England, people genuinely feared witches and witchcraft and their association with the devil. This peaked in 16th century England, and it's shown by the fact that Parliament passed a series of laws around witchcraft, including the 1542 Act, which made witchcraft a crime punishable by death. Further acts in 1562 and 1604 transferred the crime of witchcraft from a church court over to the ordinary courts because it was now considered such a serious issue. As a result, many early modern people in England were trying to find ways to protect themselves from witchcraft, and the church came up with one way to try and protect people: the midwifery oath. Witchcraft had a strong association with midwifery in 16th century England, and although one historian has recently argued that there is no direct correlation between those who were practicing midwifery and those formerly accused of witchcraft, there was a general belief at the time that midwives were more susceptible to witchcraft. As a result, the church decided it needed to take precautions, because midwives had an incredibly important role in the local community. And I'm not just talking about delivering babies, but if the baby did not look like it would survive long enough for the vicar to arrive, the midwife had the power to baptise the child into the Church of England. Consequently, the church became incredibly concerned about the moral character of midwives. After all, they could not have women who were consorting with the devil via witchcraft baptising children. As a result, many midwives were made to swear an oath, part of which included that they would not practice witchcraft, charms, or sorcery, and it is only then that the church would let them practice in the local community. Random fact number 2. Chalk. It might seem kind of weird to you today, but many people in early modern England kept chalk in their pockets. Ordinary chalk, the type of chalk that you might have used as a child to mark out the hopscotch squares on the ground. Well, in early modern England, it was an integral part of daily life. Chalk could be used for leaving messages. Say if you popped round to the neighbours and they were out, you could write a message on their wall or door. It was also used to write the prices for market stalls, or to keep score of games in taverns at night. It had a wide variety of use in daily life for many people. It was also relatively inexpensive compared to paper, ink, and a pen, which you also couldn't really easily carry around in your pocket in the same way as you could a piece of chalk. As a result, it was quite common for people to have chalk in their pockets in early modern England. Fact number 3. The hornbook. In early modern England, some children were taught to read by usually female family members by using a hornbook. They are a pretty big part of the history of education, but few people have ever actually heard of a hornbook. So what exactly is a hornbook? A hornbook consisted of a piece of paper with the alphabet written out, the Lord's Prayer, and maybe 1 or 2 other prayers that the maker found significant. This piece of paper will then be mounted onto a wooden panel, which was usually shaped a bit like a tennis racket, and then encased in 2 pieces of transparent animal horn in order to protect it from the elements. It needed protecting from the elements because, at this time, paper was still quite expensive, and that way it could be used to teach multiple children over many years how to read. The hornbook would then be attached to the child via a string, either round the neck or the waist, and will be used to teach them how to read. Hornbooks were very popular in families who could read between the late 16th and 18th centuries. They would eventually fall out of fashion due to the lowering prices of paper, which made paper more disposable, as well as more and more children going to school in the 19th century for a formal education, meaning they didn't need to be taught to read at home. I hope you enjoyed today's video and that you learned something really interesting. And if you want to learn some more really random, really interesting history, make sure you come back on Sunday for another video. That's all for now. Bye!